everyone. Today is March 2nd, 2026. You are attending the Animal Matters Commission hearings conducted in accordance with Article 12 of the Anne Arundel County Code. These proceedings are administrative in nature and are conducted informally, meaning they are not bound by the rules of evidence. However, all testimony remains under oath. Procedures in all cases is as follows. Each party will be given an opportunity to state their case. Following the statement of the case, each party will have the opportunity to direct questions to the opposing party. Interruption of the opposing party is prohibited. Ample time will be provided for all statements and questions. While the commission acknowledges a case history may exist, all parties must focus their presentation on the issue currently before the commission. Upon the conclusion of the case, the commission will enter open deliberation, during which public participation is not permitted. The commissioners may ask clarifying questions of the parties. No further information will be heard prior to a decision being rendered. The commission's decision serves as a recommendation to the Director of Animal Services or their designated representative, who will take the recommendation into consideration before issuing a final decision. If the defendant is dissatisfied with the commission's decision, they may appeal as follows. Citation cases, appeals are made through the District Court of Maryland. Administrative cases as petitions for the return of animals, potentially dangerous, and vicious order, appeals are made through the County Board of Appeals. Autumn, will you call the first case, please?
If you are a participant in Anne Arundel County Department of Animal Services versus Jackson for the case of Milo, please use the raise hand function at this time so I can promote you. And then, Officer Herbert, if I get you to unmute and turn your camera on. Might have to, there we go. Are you able to turn your camera on? Let me call over there, see if they're having technical issues. Jackie, give me 1 second.
Got access to it, I can't undo it. Well, the audio's on now, just not the video. The audio's on and then the video settings are over here. And I don't think that, no, it's not covered. In there, I tried to undo that. And it comes up here. And here are the settings.
Is that laptop connected to the monitor?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Because I've
hooked up.
never- I haven't changed
You
anything.
wouldn't get the audio.
I got the audio. Can you hear me? Okay.
Unplugged and disconnected from the monitor.
Disconnected.
Let me do that.
In her office, or your office? Just. Okay, yeah, yeah, we don't need to have it.
Okay.
We don't need to have it.
Okay. My apologies. My apologies.
Jackie, there's an issue with the visual, but I can tell you that that is Officer Herbert, if you're okay to move forward.
I am. Do any of the other?
I am. Do
Have
any
a
of the
concern?
others have a concern?
Okay, then let's move on.
Okay, then let's move on.
Ms. Jackson, if you could unmute for me, please. There you go. Just raise your right hand. Do you swear and affirm under penalties of perjury that the testimony you're about to give is the truth?
Yes, I do.
Yes, do.
Could you please state your name and address for the record?
Rebecca Jackson.
Rebecca Jackson.
Sorry, it's repeating.
There's
Do
an-
you have an echo?
I have an echo too.
Okay, I can't talk like that through this whole thing. Rebecca Jackson, 1440 Blockton Court, Crofton, Maryland, 21114.
114.
Officer Herbert, if you could state your name and address.
Officer Herbert, Department of Animal Services, 411 Maxwell Fry Road, Millersville, Maryland, 21108, Anne Arundel County, Maryland.
I will turn it over.
Thank you very much. And thank you, everybody, for being here this morning. Officer Herbert, if you would please get us started with explaining why we're here.
Morning, everyone. It was reported to Anne Arundel County Animal Services that on January 8th, 2026, your dog Milo, a 5-year-old male, black and white in color, Akita-type dog, while running at large, he chewed his way out of the home through a window, was involved in a severe animal attack to Kobe, a Shih Tzu owned by Karen Allen that required veterinary treatment, sutures, and drains to repair. According to our records, during this incident, your dog was in violation of Anne Arundel County Code Article 12, 4-402, 3 and 5, Public Safety, and 12-4-905, Animals Running at Large. Milo is currently at home because Miss Jackson was very quick to comply with the order. He was neutered and also microchipped. And I believe there's portions of this order that she's appealing.
Thank you. Do we have anybody else to present on this side of the case? If not, Ms. Jackson, if you'd like to go ahead and tell us first what portions you are appealing on the order. And first of all, I want to thank you for making such a quick recovery for Milo
Thank
and
you.
compliance.
Thank you. And thanks to Officer Herbert for also, getting out here the second I said I had things ready and squeezing him in for surgery before a long weekend. I had filed to dismiss the case for the dangerous order severe animal attack entirely. And if the commissioners were not amenable to that, there are some portions that I was going to ask. In light of some new information I received, the evidence I received on Friday of last week, after 2 months of requesting it, I am updating my request to just fully dismiss it because the vet records state that no sutures or drains were needed for this dog in 2 places. In addition to not having the evidence until last Friday. But I can go through the portions I had previously wanted to discuss. I have the, I can go through that if you'd like. But I would continue to appeal this now at this point, if it weren't just dismissed.
Okay, thank you. So Milo is your dog.
Yes.
Okay. Has he gotten loose like that before?
Never. I found out on January 8th, that he could escape. He's never escaped before. Walking him has never been an issue. I would always close the bedroom doors. I only go into the office 2 days a week, and I would always close the bedroom doors because in the last 5 years, the only thing he's done is once out of every 10 times I go to the office, he will chew up like a coat hanger or something. Very, nothing important. So I never considered crating him. I didn't see that there was a need for it. He hasn't been destructive before. And so I have twist doorknobs. He somehow opened the door, chewed through a window. I have a lot of files I was hoping to share with you, but showing you the destruction he did. Chewed through a window frame till it popped open and then burst through the screen. So no, he has never escaped before, and I had no prior knowledge that he could even get out. He is crate trained now. I've taken a lot of time off of work. I've visited with the vet. We've discussed his medications for his attachment issues with me. And I'm happy to report that he's 2 days a week in the office. He will stay in his crate for about 5 hours. That's where we're at. I have a camera to watch him while I'm out. If I, need to come home quickly, I can do that. But no, I had he's never escaped before, and there's no record of any, aggressive behavior or escaping before now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Before
Hey, Jackie,
before we move on to the next, I'm getting feedback too.
I'm sorry. The vet record is in the evidence file. I was gonna share it, but I feel like the font might be too small to see on the screen. So I don't know if Doc Hammer wants to read through what the victim dog had to get done.
Yeah, I've actually read through it, and it appears that Miss Jackson is correct that there was no drain placement. It appears there was no sutures applied. They allowed this injury to heal by what we call second intention. And that's a judgment call made by the attending in consultation with the owner to elect to just let nature take its course and allow the body to heal itself and then intervene should complications arise. I'm not aware of any complications arising. There's no additional medical notes from the referring veterinarian or primary care veterinarian, but it does look like, in fact, this dog suffered some injuries to the prepuce and the penis itself, to which the owner and the attending elected to allow it to heal by second intention, which is correct. Ms. Jackson is correct. There were no sutures and no drain applied, but this was a serious injury. This is nothing to be taken lightly or a scratch or anything like that. So, and by the tone of the notes, drain placement and applying sutures certainly would have been an appropriate course of action if that's what the owner and the attending had elected to do.
Hey, just a quick point of order. It seems as if when Autumn unmutes, we keep getting this reverb. So if she unmutes to talk, if everyone else mutes quickly, then and I think we won't get that echo. So just as we move through the day's session, I think that happened last week as well. So just if we see Autumn asking, maybe she raises her hand before she talks, so we can know to all mute so it won't be hard to understand. Thank you.
Thank you very much on that. So my understanding, Ms. Jackson, is that number one, first you want to appeal the full order, but you would like for us to also consider certain portions of it. Will you please go through those portions for us and what they are and why we should reconsider on that?
Sure. Autumn, am I able to share my screen and present? It looks like I can. Are you able to see my screen? Okay.
Yes.
Can you see our face blocks over here, or is that in the way? Or no? Okay.
Autumn, I think you are muted. There you go.
All right.
And Ms. Jackson, we've all had opportunity to review your evidence before this morning.
Okay. I'm just looking for got my statement. Oh, I think it came through on the PIA. Sorry, I think I sent it. I'm sorry, let me look in a different file. Hold on, I'm gonna stop sharing for a second. I can't, it's like popping up. Let me find what I sent.
Ms. Jackson, Autumn can probably help you if you're looking for a particular item there in your file.
I'm just looking for what I sent, the portions. Oh, I know where it is. So sorry about that. The appeal. Okay. Share again. All right, so the portions I wanted to discuss, that I would, regardless of what you decide today, I intend to always continue to create Milo when he's home. Number two, I don't know what number one means. He must be confined at home, but he's here right now, so he's always confined at home, unless we're out together. The fencing restrictions I would keep in place because that's going to stay. My insurance policy was sufficient at the time. I don't plan to change that. There's no undoing his neutering. And number 13, at the time I wrote this, I had, there's been some development since that, but with number 13, I have already obtained private training. I have some files to share with you on that. However, the trainer has written a letter and has done an assessment. He won't do an aggressive training on Milo. He has determined he's not aggressive after putting him through some assessment. And so I have plans to continue with the trainer on obedience and his attachment issues, his anxiety. But I won't be able to accomplish number 13 because he won't do an aggressive training on a non-aggressive dog. The portions that I was requesting to be dismissed are the related to number 4, taking him out with a harness, a collar, a dual clip, and muzzled. I haven't had any issue with him walking ever before. I've, dropped the leash before and he doesn't bolt away. He's attached to me.
Excuse me,
It's also
Ms.
just not,
excuse me, Ms. Jackson, I'm going to interrupt for just a moment. Just for clarity for us, it would be helpful for us as you run through your points to explain why you think that particular point in the order should be disregarded or modified. That would be very helpful for us. Okay,
okay.
thank you.
So you want me to elaborate more on the harness leash combo? Or did I not explain something else?
Well, I
well
think
enough?
it would be very helpful for the commission members to fully understand what your concern is and how you plan to meet any modification that we might do or a modification you might offer to us. Because right now we're working on the premise that you are currently in
Compliance.
you're in compliance with the order. And so
Yes.
what do you want us to change on the order and why?
Sure.
Thank-
So I would like, I want to be able to walk him the way I've always walked him without a problem. I use a gentle leader and I have for a few years, and it was actually something that the trainer has said that we would work on that as well. Hopefully not even need to use that eventually. I would like number 4 to be dismissed, removed. Number 5, I don't know that so Milo is always going to remain up to date on his vaccinations. And my request for appealing number 5 was related to the annual licensing yearly. I am asking for number 9 to be removed. I'm not sure what purpose the baby gates are serving. Milo doesn't try to escape the house while we're home. He's crated now when we're not home, so that mitigates the need for, again, I don't know what a baby gate, this dog got through a window, so I'm not sure what the baby gate is serving. So I have 2 locked front doors, a glass door and a, solid wood door, deadbolts. So, and again, he's not ever trying to leave the home when I'm home. He's crated when he's alone, per the order. Number 10, I would like removed, corresponding with number 2, requesting to dismiss the dangerous order license that by Maryland law states that requires sutures and drains. I'm requesting to not have to report to animal control when I move or when he dies. I'm already in compliance with number 11, notifying my neighbors, but requesting dismissal of any additional future notification to HOAs or neighbors. My neighbors all know and like Milo. we've never had an issue with the neighbors, and they all have dogs. Number 12, I am requesting that we remove the signage. Milo's never had an incident with anybody coming to the door. There are people in and out of my house all the time. I have a child. He had a friend over all weekend. He loves spending time with them, and he's, you know, I think that the sign is intended to be a warning for people, you know, dogs, delivery drivers, people that need to cautiously approach a house, but that's just not the case for Milo. If you weren't amenable to removing that, I would be open to putting a different kind of sign up, but I just think dangerous animal on premises is a bit extreme and not appropriate for Milo's case. I was also going to share with you, I don't know if, again, like I wasn't sure what you had time to look at, but, you know, regarding the trainer that I mentioned per the order, you know, he has written this letter discussing the assessment that we did, saying that Milo doesn't show any of the markers of an aggressive dog. He was introduced to other dogs while he was there. His dog was out, and then there were 2 other dogs in a crate that, you know, he didn't show any signs of aggression to. He says it's with his utmost confidence that this dog is not aggressive. He did clarify that my usage of the word separation anxiety was was not the right term. He calls it attachment issues. Nonetheless, he panicked when I left on January 8th and was out of the house within 15 minutes. I left the house at 8:30, and all of this happened around 9 a.m. So, you know, like even if he, you know, I'd had someone come in midday to take him out or something, like he panicked, he ran away within 15 minutes of me leaving the house and did all of that damage, which I'm mitigating through crating and working with a trainer.
Miss Jackson, do you have any idea of why this happened on that particular day? Since
Well, I wish I could ask him. He, you know, no, I left the house. He was in his normal spot, just didn't even get up, didn't even wasn't stressed out. I you know, I said in my statement that I had checked the camera, and I always do that on my way in, like make sure he's part husky. He's very, very vocal, and he'll be in there talking sometimes and kind of whining a bit, but then I'll talk to him, tell him to settle down, and he does. You know, you leave the house for work expecting to come home that day, and your dog is still there because your house is locked up. The only thing that I can think of, well, I mean, honestly, even Officer Herbert suggested, do you think someone was trying to break in that bedroom window, like right after you left? I mean, it's just so out of nowhere. The vet suggested that perhaps a dog that was in heat was walking by. I will say on Tuesday of that week, the 2 days before this incident, I went into the office and I got an email from my son's school that the power had gone out in Crofton. And then when I got home around 4, it must have been the whole grid around here because my security system alarm was going off really loudly. And I thought, oh my gosh, did he sit in this all day? I can't answer that. I wish I could. I really wish I knew.
thank you.
But those are just ideas we've kind of thought about. You know, he needs some help with his anxiety levels, that's for sure.
Okay.
But you can see here, you know, in compliance with the muzzle, but there's another dog right there.
Thank you. Dr. Hemmer, you had a question?
I did. I'm trying to put all this together, and what I'm having a tough time visualizing in my mind, and if you could elaborate on this, it would be great for me at least, is, you know, this happened in January. I mean, it's pretty cold out. You know, I no comment on your personal life. Did you have your windows open? Did he eat through the glass? Did he rip the whole window out of the wall? How did he escape from a closed window is what I'm having tough time with.
This is what I came
Trying to
home.
understand.
Yeah, I have pictures. So this is what I came home to.
I'm not seeing anything. Did I doing something here, Autumn?
Are you not seeing my screen as
I believe there are some pictures closer up to the window
But
damage.
can you see my screen right now?
I see it now.
Yes.
Thank you.
Uh-huh. So, you know, he ripped down these curtains. This, he ripped the curtains and the hardware down. There was a table here. It's hidden behind this. He pushed it. It's like fallen over, chewed up files. I mean, just destruction. This is the window. It's got blood on it. I think he just chewed this until it popped open. To answer your question, no, the windows were not open. There's whiskers hung. This was the window he got out of. He just kind of chewed this until it popped open and then burst out of the screen.
Very good. Thank you very much, Ms. Jackson.
Sure. Going back to the trainer, he was trying to provoke him to get him to, oh gosh, is it not going to work? Oh, it's not going to play. I did send these over to Autumn. I don't know why it's not going to work. I wonder if I need to open it with something else.
Autumn can probably help you with this.
If
Let's
you could
just,
stop sharing your
let's just
screen
stop.
so I can share from my screen.
This may work. Let's see. Can you hear that? The audio?
Miss Jackson, did you hear Autumn? She suggested that you stop sharing and then she could do it herself.
Okay.
Thank you.
And none of this, he's trying to get my fingers out of his mouth. This dog isn't showing me like, look, you touch me again, it's gonna be fight night.
Thank you, Autumn.
There was this.
Do any of
I
the
think there
other,
was.
excuse me, do any of the
second.
other commission members have questions for Miss Jackson? Or wish to see any other piece of the evidence file?
What I'd like to know, and I don't know if it's Miss Jackson or one of the officers. So I'm trying to again put together some time frame here. So this animal, we believe, Jude was able to. Let me start with this, Miss Jackson. Where during the day does the dog usually kept? When he has free roam of the whole house prior to this incident, he would have free roam of the entire house.
I would close the bedroom doors, so he really just had access to the living room and kitchen.
Okay, so he couldn't get into bedrooms, but he could get just about anywhere else. And the room where that happened is not a bedroom, or it is a bedroom.
That is a bedroom.
So he got into the bedroom. Okay, and so you believe this happened? I mean, do we know what time he was actually loose and this actual incident happened with this other dog? Do we have any idea exactly what time that happened? And you have, and I mean, how were you made aware of that? Like, I'm not hearing any of that. To this point, I know that I seem to be okay. And with the facts submitted that the dog was attacked and that there was some sort of damage done to another dog. How did you find out about that? Do we have any idea what time that happened? All those things. Anything you can enlighten me?
Yeah, so I left the house around 8:30. Like I said, I was checking in on him and I did hear him like whining and being loud.
Excuse me. When you say checking in on him, you said you had video. Is the video just in one place? Is that how you can hear him? Can you explain that a little bit?
Sure, it's a live camera. So I was just popping in on my camera, hearing if he was whining or anything, and just making sure that he was okay in the living room. I didn't see him, so I figured he was just out of the frame. but I heard him and I was like, sit down, be good. And, which, we've done before. And I believe that, the first call, or this happened around 9 a.m. So he got out of the house within, and I should say, I was checking in on the camera. And by the time I got to the office, which is only like 20 minutes away, it was quiet again. So I assumed, okay, as per usual, he just settled down, went about my work day, got home. That picture that I showed you of the bedroom destruction is my son took that actually and sent it to me. I was 2 minutes away from the house, so I just got home. I called animal control, realizing, okay, like I guess he disappeared from the house in that time that I thought he had settled down. I then realized, no, he must have escaped by then. He escaped by the time I got into the office. So I then called animal control. I asked if they had picked up, any dogs today, or, reports of, I assumed he'd been hit by a car, honestly. I live right off of Route 3 in Crofton, so it's very busy. They told me that the shelter was closed for the night, but to check the Facebook. Stacy, I'll answer your question about the trainer. So I called, they said the shelters were closed. To check they said, you have Facebook, you should check our page. I checked, he was the first thing listed with his, his picture. And I said, this is him, like he's there. So they said, okay, you can come in tomorrow morning. They open at this time, come get him then. So I showed up then on, I think it was a Friday. They told me that he was involved in a potential attack, that he couldn't come home. They didn't have a victim. They didn't have a report from a mandated reporter, like a veterinary hospital or a regular hospital. And that they were going to hold him because of a rabies quarantine and unknown status of what was going on with the other dog. They told me they had no evidence at that time of the attack. They had no statements. They had no reports. They had one witness who arrived towards the end of it, where the owner was apparently yanking on, her statement's in there. She said she was, yanking on the leash and trying to get him out of his mouth. There were, if I can reshare my screen, there were a whole lot of social media posts, people posting that they tried to help. Apparently one man did end up walking Milo around for about an hour. Oh, okay, hold on. So I was kind of just trying to piece together what had happened. There were some posts saying that there was a loose dog, a separate loose dog with a blue collar. That was the same dog that got picked up, not the one that attacked the lady. There's a mention of some blue collar. Somebody posted this. You can see Milo has a white gray collar. This was him loose. This gentleman, there's also a witness statement from him in the files I received, but saying like, I got a hold of him. I walked him around for an hour looking for the owner. Thanks to everybody who were, trying to help him. Someone else said I tried to catch him before he ran away. I actually ended up messaging with this woman that said like she was really trying to get him. She said that he was walking around a daycare center with children and parents and didn't attempt to do anything with them, that he passed other dogs. I saw him pass dogs and multiple people and be incredibly sweet and do everything he could to get out of the way. I'm not sure what this lady did, but she must have done something to cause him to get an attitude. She said that, animal control could reach out to her. She provided her number.
Thank you, Ms. Jackson. Tom, is this helping to answer your question?
Yeah, I mean, I'd read through some of the evidence. I just wanted to hear from her exactly, how she felt and how she, come across this. It's one thing to read it on a page. It's another thing to hear it in person. So I just wanted to make sure we were covering it. Thank
Yeah, no, I just explored social, and then I came in, I went in on Friday, and Officer Herbert told me that they could keep him probably just till Monday because they didn't have anyone coming unless someone came forward. So then she called me Monday, said that she was able to locate a vet record. I came in on the third. I asked when I visited him. I visited him on the 9th. When I came in, I visited him again on the 13th when I signed the order. And there's still to date nobody. There's no pictures. I don't. There's no pictures of the attack. There's no videos, and it is unfortunate this happened. And I work in public health and safety in a compliance role, so I want you to know, like, I really do, like, I care too about the public's best interest, but I feel that I've mitigated the escape problem, and I feel like a lot of what happened around this situation and maybe what prompted it, knowing that he was walking by all these other dogs without an issue, it's just really difficult missing half of the story here from the other party. I also asked in person every time I went in to see the evidence, to see these files so that I could, and I took them at face value when they said that sutures and drains were required. I wouldn't have signed the dangerous order had I known. I should have been able to see the evidence. I should have been able to see what they were looking at to decide that this was a severe animal attack. I feel that what I received just Friday, after asking in person 3 times to see it and sending 11 emails, I was routed through PIA. I sent 11 emails explaining that I needed to see this. They sent me everything but this piece of evidence, the vet records. I just received them on Friday. So I just feel like it was a little bit, the evidence was a bit misrepresented to me. Again, I'm glad that the dog is okay. I'm glad it's not as severe as I was told. Nobody has reported it. They haven't come forward to talk about it, to report it. The vet didn't even report it, or the hospital didn't even report it.
Thank you, Ms. Jackson. Do any of the other commission members? Yes, Dr. Hammer.
So, without a doubt, Milo is running at large. Without a doubt, Milo's running at large. So that's a known fact. There's no video. The owner of the dog hasn't come forward. How do
Actually,
we know Milo
I'm sorry,
even-
Dr. Hammer, we just had a message saying that the owner of the other dog is actually present here today, right now.
I'm unaware of that. Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
it just popped up as a chat. I'm sorry, I just
Okay.
saw it.
All right. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, then I'm done then. Okay. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Tom, for pointing that out. I'm not sure any of us were aware of that. So Autumn is the owner or the owner of the victim. Has she been sworn in?
I'm going to do that right now. We were emailing each other back and forth to get her promoted, but I was trying to wait for the opportunity. I didn't want to interrupt anybody with my sound being.
Thank you. Let's go ahead and let's go ahead and get her sworn in. And it sounds like she could answer a lot of questions that we have and help to clarify things for Ms. Jackson as well. Thank you. Thank you.
Karen, if you could raise your right hand for me, please. Do you swear and affirm under penalties of perjury that the testimony you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth?
I do. I do.
And then just if you could state your name.
Karen Allen.
I'll turn it back over to you.
Thank you very much. Ms. Allen, thank you for joining us. I think it would certainly help us with clarity if you could tell us what happened that day with you and your dog, please.
Yeah, absolutely. We were approaching, coming down the sidewalk up top of, right at the corner of Sunoco at, Hanson Boulevard, the main street, right where La Petite, the child care center is. We weren't at that end. We came from, out of Crofton Village Apartments and came down the sidewalk at the top of the sidewalk and started walking down. I was on the phone looking at my phone while I was walking Kobe. And then, I put my phone down. By this time, I see the dog in front of us, just coming towards us and out, coming towards us on the sidewalk. More so at the end of the middle of the sidewalk by that time, getting closer to the middle of the sidewalk. So anyway, with that being said, the dog was coming towards us, and then the next thing I know, the dog started running closer to us. And I said to myself, I said, I wish I didn't have that phone on. I'd have seen the dog from a little further down, because I would have been able to cross the street, put Kobe in my coat, and be away from that dog. Because the dog, it's like as soon as the dog saw Kobe, he ran towards us really quick. So I went into the parking lot to get away from the dog. I grabbed Kobe. The dog chased us into the parking lot, jumped up on me. I had a long coat on at the time. Jumped up on me. I held Kobe. Kobe's legs were swinging. I was swinging Kobe, grabbing Kobe away. And then at that time, that's when the dog had a chance to bite Kobe, right when Kobe's legs were open. The dog did what he wanted to do. I thought it was a girl. The officer told me it was a girl. I guess that was a mistake. But nonetheless for that. But the dog wanted to do what the dog wanted to do. The dog looked at Kobe and came straight running towards us. And as he came towards us, again, like I went into the street. And when I got into the street, I had to look both ways, make sure no cars were coming because I was trying to get away. The dog chased us in the street. Again, that's when he jumped up on me, snatched, and actually big Kobe, snatched Kobe out of my arm, had Kobe his doing this, swinging his head. And that's when I knew to do something serious and take a chance. And thank God when I took that chance of snatching Kobe out of his mouth, I'm so thankful that he didn't hold on to my baby. At that time, two cars had stopped. People jumped out, helped me. Kobe started bleeding. The gentleman told me to put him in my car. He put his window down, blocked the whole street off right out here. Blocked the street off with cars because so many people was like distraught that this dog attacked us. So anyway, so then I put Kobe in the gentleman's in front seat. He said, "Put my window down. Put your dog in here. Put your dog in here." Put my dog in there. Two other boatload of folks came out of their cars because the whole street was blocked off. And then because they blocked the street off because they got out of their car to help me. And it was a whole situation in the middle of the street because, like I said, I ran to the middle of the street when I saw the dog running towards us. I said, I got to go on the street, make sure no cars coming. This is where I ended up. Folks got out the car again, start helping us. And then at that time, I grabbed Kobe, and the gentleman drove me around the corner to my home after I put Kobe in the window. And then at that point, nothing was on my mind besides taking my baby to the hospital after I saw the blood. And I'm very disappointed that I didn't even hear one apology from the beginning from the person of the owner of this dog. But I will tell you, I understand how it is when you are pet lovers because I am a pet lover. And I don't have no malice against her, or I mean, I know malice against her mistakes that she's made, but I will say that all my disappointment comes from the fact of what happened to us. I'm disappointed with that. I am severely disappointed. It was terrifying. It stayed in my mind forever. It's going to be in my mind forever. It's going to be in my vision forever. It cost me a lot of money, you know. And it caused me a lot of sadness with me and my family and my children. And I'm very, very, extremely, very disappointed. And again, no, Kobe did not need stitches. Thank God he did not. But he did have to I have all the paperwork right here with me. Talk about it or whatever. All the paid out and everything for this. It was a serious situation. He had to stay at the hospital, at the dog's hospital for a while. I'm just thankful that my baby is okay because I'm very heartbroken that that did happen to him. It's not no more so nearly so much about, and I will also say some things that were said was not true. I stood there, I waited there, waited for the officer. It was a very nice man and a woman who said they found police because they was disappointed of what their dog did to mine. And they stood out there. They found the collar to hold that dog there just to make sure that that dog didn't hit nobody, hurt else. And they waited there until animal control. When the control came, I was gone. I went straight to the hospital with my babies. My two adult children were hanging there. They met the man. They stood there with the man, and the man was very nice to my children. And there was not no other pets outside there at all. That's not true, and there were no children outside of there. That gentleman stood right over there at La Petite, in front of La Petite, and there was no one there but him and that woman and that dog that attacked my dog. There were no children out. There were no other pets out there whatsoever. I stood there. I was there.
Thank you, Ms. Allen. So Kobe is doing okay now? I hope.
Yes, thank God.
Good, thank you. Do any of the commission members have any questions for Ms. Allen? Ms. Jackson, do you have any questions for Ms. Allen?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I've not heard any statement from her until today.
Okay, so we have heard what happened, and that certainly helped to clarify things a bit. Thank you, ma'am, for being here. Ms. Jackson, you said you have some questions for Ms. Allen?
Yes.
Okay.
Ms. Allen, I am sorry that this happened.
I appreciate your
really am.
apology. Or I, all right.
I mean that. Can I ask why you didn't report this to animal control?
I didn't know how. All I knew how to do was to go get my baby to the hospital. And I was told by the gentleman that held my puppy, my sons and my daughter, with the gentleman. And they said that the gentleman, my son gave his number to the gentleman that was holding your dog, waiting for animal control there. And then he said, I'm going to give animal control your phone number and they're going to get in touch with you. And then they sure enough did. Herbert reached out and he found me. And he said, Karen, I've been looking for you. I'm glad I found you and everything. Because we didn't wait. We went to the hospital. We were waiting for animal control. They didn't show up yet. It's not, I think something went on. But yeah.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions?
Yes. When Officer Herbert called you to collect a statement, did you provide one then?
Absolutely. He reached me the same day.
Okay, so I was told that you refused to provide a statement to Officer Herbert about what happened, a written statement.
Yeah, I was at the hospital at the time. I set myself together because I was very traumatized severely. I couldn't even talk about it right then and there. That's correct.
But she called you again? Did she call you more than once to get?
Yes, she did. She did, and then I called her back. But that doesn't mean anything. What does mean something is that my dog was attacked, and so was I. Okay, that's what we're talking about.
Thank you. We don't
Again,
I don't think we need to debate this, that we have her witness statement, we have everything else I think that we need as far as the incident occurring. And so, Ms. Jackson, your concern now is that you wish to appeal at least portions of the order, which we now understand. We have your written documentation on that. Are there any questions from any of the other commissioners? If not, then unless either of you have anything new to add, we will go into deliberations.
I do have one more thing to add.
Yes, ma'am.
Procedurally, this is not the process. This is not a criminal hearing. I shouldn't be surprised today or last week by new information. I have every right at every level of government to see the evidence against us, and the only thing we have had till this very hearing, till now, was a vet record that I requested 3 times in person, 11 times via email, and through 2 separate PIA requests.
Thank you, Ms. Jackson. We will make note of that. But what we will be deciding on are the reasons that you have given us for appealing your order. So thank you very much. And again, if you are dissatisfied with any of our findings, then you can appeal on that. Okay? With that, we'll go ahead and go to deliberations. Thank you.
Jackie, for the sake of having audio issues, I did not change Officer Herbert's role because she's the officer for the next case as well. So that way we just don't run into the same issues we ran into.
Okay, thank you for letting us know about that. Okay, so just in recap, number 1, Ms. Jackson wants to appeal the entire order. And if we are not inclined to do that, then she has given us those various points. That I suspect that we should, first of all, let's have a discussion. Dr. Hemmer, do you have anything you want to share, please?
I just want to reiterate that Ms. Jackson is correct that Toby did not receive any sutures or a drain being placed. Not to say that that would not have been an appropriate course of care, but that's what the owner and the attending veterinarian decided as a treatment course. So she is in fact correct there. We certainly can't deny, and nobody denies that this did happen. I guess in my mind, as I'm looking at it, is, the severity of the injury. It is a serious injury, but it's, not a near death. And it's certainly, I would not call it a severe injury by any stretch of the imagination in my professional assessment. Based on what I've heard today, I'm a little fluxed as to why animal control went ahead and just went right ahead and issued a dangerous order versus a potentially dangerous order. I think that would have been a more appropriate application of the law in this case. And I would opt to downgrade the order, not dismiss it, but downgrade it to a potentially dangerous order rather than dismissing it and then make modifications based on what she's asking for. Some of the things she's asking for, we might be able to mitigate some of the cost. I believe the commission has got some latitude on that, but some of the other stipulations, like getting a rabies vaccine and being licensed with the county, that's actually law of the county, and I'm not sure we can really, accommodate those requests. And that's where I'm at as far as the dangerous order goes, and certainly we can go into more detail if we decide to uphold the dangerous order, then go through her requests. So sorry for taking so long.
Thank you. We take as long as we need to understand and to get it out. Tom, do you have comments, questions?
So I tend to agree with Dr. Hemmer that I don't know that a full dangerous order would be necessary. I do believe that a PDO in this case could be necessary. I do not know if Miss Jackson fully grasps the intensity in which that dog would have wanted to or needed to get out of that home, and that energy, how that can be transferred. Even though there's 10 people on social media that said that dog was acting fine, in this case, the victim, when that dog approached, it becomes a totally different situation. And that could be in her reaction, which she has every right to react in that way. She has a small dog and she's looking to defend herself against an approaching dog. That should never happen. And to that point, I feel like removing things like she claims that okay, yeah, we're crating the dog now. Well, if that's fine, that's great, and she should be crating the dog now. But there's no oversight to that whatsoever moving forward if we remove the order altogether. The secondary barriers. I mean, she says she has kids. Someone accidentally leaves the door open. In this case, I mean, the dog didn't essentially bolt right out after an animal, which is one thing I'm thinking about. It didn't run right out the door because it saw an animal. It had been out and then saw something while it was out. But that's not to say if a small dog walked by out front and had the opportunity that something like that, I feel like these orders should be in place to keep, common sense things in place that we know we can track if we need to. So, I mean, I'd be willing to talk about some of the individual things, but I could agree to reduce to a potentially dangerous. And I definitely could agree maybe to some modifications if we looked at it point by point. But again, it does concern me that this dog has the intensity in which to open a window. I mean, I've been doing this a long time. I've never seen a dog be able to chew its way through a window. I mean, that's some intensity. And if a dog has that kind of intensity, it really scares me to some extent. I know Stacy had asked, and we didn't really get a good answer on the trainer, the certifications on the trainer. The one little the video that we heard audio with the trainer, again, it's not the same situation. This dog is on a leash in a controlled situation. This is not a dog that's, gotten himself out and doesn't know what's going on. So that's what scares me about the dog, honestly. So.
Thank you, Tom. Lieutenant McGrath?
Yeah, I'm still confused by the whole timeline of all of this. And once the dog got out and you have all these statements of people grabbing a hold of the dog, and then all of a sudden the dog is running loose again, and then it catches up with our victim and bites the dog, and then animal control comes out. I don't know if you guys heard anything different, but I'm a little confused by that part. I'm not opposed to what was previously mentioned about, modifying the order and changing what it's being called, and maybe, her appealing some of the stuff. It sounds like she's already in compliance with a lot of this stuff. And, she did it fairly quickly. So, and I'm very surprised how that dog got out of a window. I mean, she said it could open a door, and now it's open. I don't know. See, it seems just a little odd to me, but that's where I'm at with it.
Thank you. Stacy, your thoughts?
Get this. I'm kind of between. Yeah, I totally agree with Dr. Hemmer's suggestion of potentially doing the potential dangerous dog. But I am at the same time a little bit troubled with more than anything. I don't know if it's sticking out to other people, but her wanting to her wanting to appeal something that's county law, like you have to license your dog, you have to. That part I found a little bit. It honestly, I get that she wants to just appeal the whole order in general, but I think in my gut, it's just troubling me a little bit that she's wanting to appeal some of the most simple portions of.
Stacy, if I may, I think what she's actually appealing there is the increased license fee for a dangerous dog.
Okay. I didn't understand. Okay. All right.
That's
okay.
my understanding.
I did not understand that part. I did not know that was a thing. But no, I think that possibly moving down to potentially dangerous order. But again, the veracity of getting out those windows, things like that, does sort of stick in my, sticks with me. I asked the question about the trainer just because, in my history of both having just my history between veterinary medicine and having worked on some issues, not all trainers are created equal. So I was kind of wondering about, the certification along that lines, where the expertise lies on that. So, and I also had questions as far as what kind of crate she's using, because I think that's something that we should possibly ask of her, because so many crates are able to be busted out of within minutes. So there are some heavy duty style crates like the, I think they were calling it the Alcatraz or the Arcatraz or something like that back in 10 years ago when I was having to look at something like that. But I would be curious as to how sturdy this crate is that she's using, if her dog has that level of separation anxiety or whatever we're calling it, as well as, how else she's dealing with that.
Thank you. Nicole, your thoughts?
So I definitely agree with a possible recommendation to animal services about downgrading to a PDO. And like the other commission members, I feel like this could have been much worse. And hopefully this is a warning that, the potential of Milo's abilities when he's so inclined. I do appreciate that Ms. Jackson was quick to implement the suggestions of the DO so that she could get her dog back. That really speaks to, her intensity and love for the dog, and appreciate that she is seeking out a trainer in order to do right by the dog and hopefully prevent anything from happening again. That's my thoughts.
Thank you. I don't think I've missed anybody. I tend to share all of your thoughts. The veracity in which this dog escaped, apparently, that is troubling to think that, if he happened to be standing at the door while she was talking to someone and saw another dog go down the street, what might occur. But I certainly can go with the modify it down to a PDO.
I mean, what I think about when we talk about the veracity of this, it sounds as if that animal got out and ran around for a while and had decent interactions with a lot of people.
Yeah.
But again, to me, I look at it as we can't let the dog ever have that situation happen. And I understand she thinks it's mitigated by, okay, we're crate training, or we got it in the crate and everything's fine. But if the opportunity arises, again, it shows how we didn't have any of that information for half of this hearing about, what happened with the victim. But it just shows that someone's reaction and how they react can also bring that out in the dog. So like the fact that she picked the dog up and kind of pulled it away might have been like, oh, that looks like my toy or something like that. It's a small dog, whatever it is. And that's the type of thing where we can't have, that's what scares me is like, like you said, like 90% of the time, this dog's not going to do anything. But that one time, if someone reacts in that way, they have the right to react that way in public and not be attacked.
Yeah.
So that's what gets me.
Yeah. And I have a concern that Ms. Jackson didn't seem to truly appreciate the severity of the potential for the severity of it. And then also the consideration of the victims, Ms. Allen's trauma, her emotional trauma to that, for anyone. Yes, sir, Dr. Hemmer.
Yeah, I take a little bit of issue with that last statement, Jackie, because I don't want to prejudice us against Ms. Jackson. And please, commission members, if my understanding is not yours, please let me know. It's my understanding that all this has been thrown at Ms. Jackson, and she's tried to get evidence and she's tried to get a hold of the victim, and none of this has come forward until today. So I think Ms. Jackson is genuinely concerned about this. By her actions, I think she's taking this seriously, unlike some other people we've seen in her situation over the years.
Yeah.
But I can't discount Tom's comment that basically we need to make sure this dog stays inside. We all understand, I mean, when these dogs go through that separation anxiety, it's amazing what lengths they'll go through to get out. I mean, I had a dog literally jump a picket fence, and get caught in the middle and literally be just ripped in half, just trying to escape and get back with the owners. I mean, it's just amazing what these animals will do. So the fact that that dog ripped that window open from the inside, not surprising, not surprising. And I think my thoughts, the lines I'm thinking along are, if we go ahead and decide to either keep the DO or drop it to a PDO, I believe it incumbent on us to make sure that we maintain barriers within the house so the dog doesn't have access to get out again. Meaning that I think the crating is something that I would definitely consider to keeping in. Other secondary barriers, as Tom pointed out, I don't think this dog's a bolter. I don't think he's looking out to rip people up or hunt other dogs. If we can just help manage this dog's anxiety from a physical perspective, I think would go a lot in protecting the public interest here, I believe. So those are, I just don't want us to prejudice our thoughts just because it doesn't seem like Miss Jackson hasn't reached out to the victim. I think Miss Jackson hasn't reached out to the victim because she didn't know who the victim was until today, is my understanding.
And I didn't intend that at all. So it seems to me that we have three basic questions before us. One is, do we uphold the PO as it is? Do we look at the individual items that Ms. Jackson is appealing under that PO? Or do we recommend that it be downgraded to a potential dangerous order? And I'm sorry, I said PO, it's DO, dangerous order.
Yeah, I mean,
Yes,
I think that either way, they're going to read the same. Just that the title is going to be essentially different, potentially dangerous versus dangerous, and we'll basically be discussing the same points, if I'm not mistaken. So, I mean, essentially, I think if anything, I'd make a motion that we downgrade to a potentially dangerous order, and then if we all want to vote on that first, and then we can maybe discuss the individual. Is that doable, you guys think?
I agree with Tom, and I second his motion.
Okay. I have a point of procedure on that. And this would go to Autumn, I guess. If we were to recommend to downgrade to a PDO, to a potential, rather than the dangerous, can we then look at the PDO requirements and make modifications to those? Or would she need to come back to us on appeal of PDO?
So you can file a motion to downgrade to a PDO and modifications to the order. The DO and the PDO do read the same. The only difference in the DO to the PDO is going to be the notification to the neighbors within 175 feet. That's like the big one that's gone. Everything else reads the same. So that part that she would be appealing is going to be granted already by downgrading to the PDO, because that was one of the things that she requested to.
Okay, thank you for that. All right, so we have a motion and a second to downgrade this to a potentially dangerous order. So can I get a vote on that? Those in favor of making this a recommendation for a PDO rather than a DO, show of hands, please, in favor. Okay, so that's unanimous. Thank you. So again, as Autumn said, the big difference between the two is not needing to do the notification, which she has done already with her immediate neighbors, as I understand it. Her objection was having to make notification in the future.
No, it was my understanding that she didn't want to have any signage posted on her property, which I believe the PDO
Yes.
eliminates. And then the other issue was the harnessing and the licensing fee. Those were the matters I thought that were salient in the case.
Right, right. So let's tackle those one at a time. The licensing, Autumn, is the licensing, how does the licensing go for a PDO?
So just real quick, the property still has to be posted. Just one is, it says dangerous or dangerous dog, and then the other one just says potentially dangerous dog. So the property is still posted with either one. It just has to match the verbiage. And then the licensing, it's I want to say it's a like $25 difference between the PDO and the DO. I'm gonna look that up real quick while you guys are looking at what modifications to make. But it's like a slight difference. I think the DO is 125 and then the PDO is 100. But I'm gonna confirm, I'm gonna look up the law real quick while you guys are discussing.
Okay, thank you.
And I'd assume, I guess that increase is to cover probably some of the cost of us, of animal control having to go out and inspect and things like that, throughout the life of the dog. That's why I imagine that increase somewhat exists.
Mhm. All right, so why don't we tackle that one first then? Under the assumption that the PDO is less but more than the normal licensing. And do we even have the ability to modify that?
It's
Yeah,
Thoughts?
I feel like we always have the ability to say that we want to, whether it can actually be done or not, and whether that's upheld is different. In my opinion, I'll go first, I guess, if you guys don't mind. I keep jumping in anyway. I honestly, when it comes to the fees and all that stuff, I'm less concerned with how that goes, honestly. So, I mean, if I'd be amenable to kind of whatever you guys decide there. I think that the most important thing, again, is keeping the dog, safely in the house when he's alone or, potentially could act out. So I'm fine with it. If we want to reduce the fees or keep it to what is normal, I'm fine with that. If we want to keep it, as it's in the law, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I agree with Tom. I've got no problem. The money's not the issue. The real issue is making sure we're protecting the public interest here. So I'm flexible on that, and I believe that was her concern on the licensing was the fees. And I would make a recommendation to the commission to consider, make sure she just licenses the dog every year, pay the normal fee, whatever that is, and then move on. I think this is a point a more minor administrative point we need to address. And I think the more meat of the matter is going to come down to the muzzling and the confinement at home, which I agree with Tom is probably, more important than the finance.
Yes. Okay. Thank you very much. Question for Autumn, when you get a chance, was Milo licensed at this time when all this occurred? Right, so let's go on while she checks.
Let me check on that. I'm gonna look in the system, because I'll be able to see the history if you.
Thank you. All right, so let's go back to what her first point for the appeal on the dangerous order was number 4. Let me get my notes here. And that is with the 6-foot leash with a collar and a harness that are clipped together and muzzled. So go ahead, Dr. Hammer.
Yeah, I'm the thing I think she was more concerned, my understanding of what she was more concerned about was the leash and the harness and the carabiner and everything else. And I'm okay letting all that go. I'm going to dig my heels in a little bit though about the muzzle requirement. I think the dog, if it's outside the property, probably should be muzzled.
Yeah, and she normally uses a gentle
Yeah.
leader. Is everybody familiar with what a gentle leader is? It's a piece that goes around the muzzle and okay. So I myself would be opposed to a gentle leader. I think a true collar and leash and muzzle would be appropriate. Thoughts on that?
Can the gentle leader be used in concert with a muzzle?
Oh,
I mean,
just
if
off
the
the
dog
top
is used to
of my
being,
head.
yeah, I'm just thinking if the dog's used to being led around in that way, I don't know, is it, are you losing control of the dog like in any way with the gentle leader? Is it like, is it an attachment where it's like around the neck and around the muzzle, or is it just around the muzzle? I've never seen one before.
If I'm not mistaken, it kind of goes around the muzzle and then back around under the ears to the back of the head.
Yes.
I've never used one, but I know I've seen them.
Yeah, you're correct.
So you're
on
still
that.
able to control the dog kind of more. It's less controllable than like a standard collar with a leash.
I think the theory behind it is that if you control the nose that's attached to the head, you're controlling the dog.
Yeah.
But we're talking a pretty good sized dog.
Yeah.
So I'd be more inclined to say a collar and leash, collar or harness and leash and muzzle. Dr. Hammer, what are your thoughts about, could you use a gentle leader with the muzzle?
The behaviorally challenged dogs that I've dealt with in my practice over the years, gentle leaders do not give you the degree of control that you need to keep everybody safe.
Okay.
I like gentle leaders for my unruly dogs, the ones that pay attention but have like dog ADD and don't really pay attention. But any dog
I
that's
had one of those.
aggressive or has, the potential to give me a real serious outcome on the other end, I punt gentle leaders altogether and go with a straight up muzzle. I mean, and that's what I think we need
Okay.
in this case, in my opinion.
Okay. So if I'm not mistaken, then we're talking about a muzzle, a leash, and either collar or harness. Okay. All right, there's that one. So number 5, she was also, but the number 5 is referring to the licensing as well. Number 9 is the secure secondary barrier at all entrances. Thoughts? I myself think that the secondary barrier should stay in place. Although she says he's never bolted through the door or anything, but again, we're talking about public safety. And if this dog will go through a window, the chances are he could go through an open door. Much easier. Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Nicole.
In her appeal, it states that she has 2 lockable front doors. So in my opinion, that is a secondary barrier. And I'm with her on what's a baby gate really going to do. If he's going to go through a window, a baby gate's nothing. So again, 2 lockable front doors is a secondary barrier, in my opinion.
Oh, that's a good point. I missed that. Thank you.
Well, I mean, I kind of
Yes,
disagree with the state. I mean, the secondary barrier is supposed to be so you can come in the door and have a barrier so the dog can't get out while you're coming through. You can't lock both doors and get inside the house, I'm assuming. So you have to be able to get in, have a space that you can come in, close the door before you would open the other gate to allow the dog through. I fully agree that this dog, if it wanted to, it sounds like, yeah, he's gone through a window, he's going to go through a baby gate. I get that. So I'd be still willing to to admit that that we could maybe do away with the secondary barrier. I mean, I agree with you, Jackie, that I think it's important, but if it's not going to be securely enough, I mean, if it's just for show, it's a baby gate. Again, the dog can push through it, no problem.
Right.
But two locking doors doesn't really work as a secondary barrier unless you were able to kind of get between your main front door and your storm door, you know, and open one and close the other. It's not really going to work as a secondary barrier. But again, I'd be fine with or without. You know, I'm not pushing too hard on that one. The thing about the secondary barriers that I always think more about is children. Again, like children come in, they open the door, they're not paying attention, and the dog juts right out. That's always my thing. It's not so much the adults in the house that can kind of maneuver getting in and out of that door. It's usually better when kids are involved, it seems.
Yeah. Dr. Hammer?
Yeah. And maybe I'm missing the point here a little bit. Where I'm going with secondary barriers, I'm not too concerned about baby gates because of what Nicole said. I agree with her, but I'm more concerned about when this dog is alone in the house. Is that dog, what I consider the secondary would be like the crate to keep that dog from getting out and then trying to hit any of the access points to escape for having another anxiety attack.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with you. I'm not in this case. There's no evidence that this dog's like waiting by the door to bolt out. He's excited when people are coming in because all of a sudden people are around him again and he's back in his element. So I kind of get that.
Okay. All right. So if I'm hearing correctly, you're thinking crating, which she is doing now, in addition to what she already has, the two lockable front doors would be acceptable. So the next one is the notification to the neighbors, which she's already done. What she doesn't want to do is additional or future mandates to notify neighbors or related entities.
Yeah, that should
So
have been
that
taken
would be
care
like,
of. That should take care of with the PDO. Apparently, that was the one part of the PDO that was taken out, or with the PDO that we've already voted for. So that shouldn't
that's
be
right.
an issue.
Can I just, I have a few updates.
Thank
So
you.
she
Thank you.
requested, the notification to the neighbors goes away, but she requested that she doesn't have to notify the county if she moves, or, you know, the dog passes away or any changes with the animal. So the downgrade only addresses notification to the neighbors, not notification to the county. And then for the orders, they're all the same, dangerous and potentially dangerous orders. It's $125 initially, and then every year after is $100. So it starts at $125 for all orders, and then goes down to $100. And Milo was not licensed with the county prior to this incident.
Thank you, Autumn. So we were just talking about the notification to the neighbors. She's already done that. The thing that changes is between the PDO and the DO is that she still has to notify the county of any changes with Milo. Moving. Okay. And I think to me, that seems like a given that needs to be done. Anybody else have a thought on that? Okay.
I agree on that, and that is number 10, where the notifications to the neighbors is number 11.
Right. I'm reading off of her notes, sorry. All right, so then the other was that she was not wanting the signage on the premises. And the signage changes from the DO to the PDO of just the verbiage on the signage. So what are your thoughts on that?
I have no
Does she
problem with
need,
this. I think I have no problem with the signage being there. Obviously, it's not my house, but I think that should be no issue with it. I mean, it's pretty simple, straightforward. If someone were to come to the door, they'd be aware.
I remember,
Dr. Hammer?
I remember a case we had maybe a year or two ago where I don't remember if it was a PDO or a DO, but it was a signage issue where the defendant wanted the signage removed because of uh, privacy issues. Uh, oh, what was that all about?
I do remember that
Did you
case.
remember that? And
Yeah,
and we capitulated on that. We let her, we let her not post. And the posting requirement in this particular case, I don't have any strong feelings one way or the other. She's been a very accommodating and responsible owner, in my opinion. The signage, if she's doing everything else that we're recommending, I think the signage is a non-issue in my opinion, and waiving that I would not feel uncomfortable with.
Yeah,
Thank you.
the issue with that one, the previous case, was that she operated a business out of her home and she didn't want the patrons to be concerned or lose her livelihood because of it. I agree with Dr. Hemmer, but she gave options in her appeal for posting dog on premises. I feel like, in my opinion, that is sufficient.
Okay, thank you. All right, so we're back to the licensing fee. Do we keep it at?
Say, Jackie, I just got notification from Animal Services that those fees cannot be waived or modified. Like it just, I can get more clarification on it, but that's one of public safety licenses. We can't waive those.
Boy, I thought we went through the Office of Law on that when we went round and round on that, and I thought we had that in our wheelhouse as one of our tools in these cases. Can we check with the Office of Law? Do you have any purview on that?
So I know those, so with the modification to fees, so like boarding fees, cost of care, like there's fees that can be modified. It's just the public safety ones can't, because it's an annual license like every year that has to be renewed for the life of the pet. But I do know that you guys have the authority to modify other things regarding fees. Just this one thing with the licensing fees.
Thank you, Autumn, for that clarification. So I don't have an actual PDO in front of me. But I'll try to recap what I think we have decided, that we would recommend that this be downgraded to a PDO rather than a DO. And regarding the muzzle under item number 4, under her appeal, she needs to use a muzzle, a regular leash, not a retractable, and a collar or harness. And of course, the licensing fee, we can't change that. Under item number 9, the secondary barrier, we think the 2 lockable front doors and the use of a crate indoors rather than something like the secondary barrier would work. She does need to notify the county of any changes in Milo's situation. We do not think it's necessary for her to post a potentially dangerous order sign or potentially dangerous dog sign. Have I gotten it?
I think there still should be a sign that there's a dog
Okay.
on the premises. Just does not
But-
need to specify that it's potentially dangerous.
Okay, so just anything that notifies a dog on premises.
Well, you know those,
That-
and if I misspeak for you, Nicole, please interrupt. That the thing with Nicole's, you see those signs, caution dog kind of thing. I think, or warning dog. I think that's what Nicole's alluding to, and I wouldn't have a problem with that either. I agree with Nicole on that. That would be fine.
So does the signage actually need to give some kind of cautionary message? Or just dog on premises? What do we want the signage to say?
You know,
I'm good with
with
dog.
our premise of trying to protect the public interest, I think some kind of sign that is cautionary versus just a blanket statement, dog. She can just say handwrite a sign that says dog, and that meets the requirement. Some kind of cautionary signage, but not as severe, I guess, the perception we have with the PDO or the DO signage. I think that's appropriate, especially in the guise of what we're trying to do in the interest of public safety.
Thank you. The typical one I can think of is beware of dog. Okay. All right. So did I get it captured there? Okay. All right. So do we need to make another motion for each individual modification, or the modifications as a whole as we've laid out?
I would make a motion that we uphold the PDO, the downgraded DO to PDO with the modifications attached thereto.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor of the motion to uphold a PDO with the modifications? And that is unanimous. Thank you very much. Hopefully the next one won't be so involved. Does anybody need a break before we move on to the next one?
I do.
Okay. How much time do you think?
Just a minute.
Okay, it's what time is it? 10:39, so 10:45. We'll come back. Okay, thank you. Okay, so it's 10:45. Do we have everybody back? Great, looks like we have everybody back. So Autumn, let's go ahead and move on to the next case, please.
Just a quick note, I received an email from the owners of Coda for the Dabrowski case. They are pulling their appeal. So that case is not going to be heard today.
Okay, thank you for letting us know, and please send them a thank you for letting us know.
And then our last case, if you are a party in the case of Anne Arundel County Department of Animal Services versus Natalie, and I apologize if I say this wrong, Kikua, for the dangerous order placed on June, please use the raise hand function at this time so I can promote you to panelists.
You can't see me. Okay. You can't see me.
Hello?
Here. If you could please raise your right hand for me, please. Do you swear and affirm under penalties of perjury that the testimony you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Yes. If you can state your name and
Natalie Keku, 3335 Pitch Pine Drive, Laurel, Maryland, 20724.
Officer Herbert, if you could please.
Officer Herbert, Department of Animal Services, 411 Maxwell Fry Road, Millersville, Maryland, 21108, Anne Arundel County.
I will.
Thank you, Autumn. Do we have anybody else that is standing by to be a part of this case? All right. Thank you. Officer Herbert, will you please tell us how we came to be here?
Thank you. It was reported to Anne Arundel County Animal Services that on February 14th, 2026, your dog June, an adult female pit bull type mix, tan and white in color, while running at large, initially she was on leash, but broke free from the juvenile that she's being walked by, was all involved in a severe animal attack to Callie, a Havanese type mix owned by Francis Connor. And the injuries were so severe that Callie had to be humanely euthanized. According to our records, your dog was in violation of Anne Arundel County Code 12-4-402, items 3 and 5, public safety, and 12-4-905, animals running at large. June is currently here in the care and custody of the Department of Animal Services while her owner complies with the order, which she's very close to. Perhaps this afternoon will be the inspection. June is also spayed and microchipped.
Thank you, Officer Herbert. So, is it Miss Cuckoo? How do I pronounce that correctly?
It's Keku.
Keku.
Like Mary Kay and cuckoo bird. Keku.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. So, Ms. Keku, are you appealing the entire order or segments of it?
That's a good question. So I wanted to appeal have that dangerous dog order like reduced to a lesser order. And I didn't want to, and I also wanted to appeal the having to put the dangerous dog sign in the windows, and perhaps use a different like beware of dog or some other signage, so that all the other pieces we really already have in place. The dog is crated, it always have been. We have a fence, it has a lock on it. We're not opposed to June wearing a muzzle. We actually tried to muzzle train her ourselves months ago, but we were unsuccessful because I think we just had the wrong muzzle. So I'm not even opposed to that. So the main thing in the secondary barrier, I'm actually don't think it's a bad idea for my front door because we don't have a screen door. We don't have like a veranda or a way to create a second barrier. Just the one that we purchased says we're having issues trying to install it because we don't have the right drill bits for the brick front. So other than that, I mean, we've been trying to do it, but other than that, we already have everything else in place. I just wanted to appeal that dangerous dog order and see if we can have that reduced and not have to have a dangerous dog sign in the windows, or, just for public viewing. That was my main thing.
Sorry, I forgot to unmute. So can you walk us through your reasoning for number one, reducing it from a dangerous order to the next step down would be potentially dangerous, which actually carries pretty much most of the same things. And then the individual items that you're asking about. So we want to hear is why why we should consider that.
Yes. So thanks for you all meeting with me and being afforded an opportunity to speak. I think June is not an aggressive dog, and this is her first time doing something like this. And myself and my children, we all take our responsibility seriously. I did professional behavioral training with Cerberus protection dogs, actually back in April of 2025, well over a whole year before this incident even occurred. And we've received advice from professionals about what to do because we, love June and the other dog that we have. And we're like a lot of owners, I think sometimes you're naive when you first take on pets and you just assume it's what to do. And you go through the basic training at where we went to PetSmart or something, and you'd find out like it's not enough. And so we did things on our own long before this incident occurred. And June has never been aggressive to people, and for the most part, other than her being excitable and likes to jump, she's a really friendly dog. Where she does have a high prey drive, so small animals and small dogs can activate that, and I believe that's what unfortunately led to the passing of the other dog, unfortunately. But really. And then even my daughter, my youngest one, who was walking the dog, she was being disobedient because we told her not to walk the dog by herself. And so she was trying to, I guess, help and excited. And I was at the hair salon when the event occurred, and my husband was upset. He didn't even know she took the dog out, took June out. So yeah, I just really think this kind of just like a series of just things that really wouldn't occur in normal circumstances. And it was just the way everything happened. It really was just a tragic accident because the youngest one, June is like 75 pounds. I don't even think Favor is 75 pounds. Like she's very small. She's a very small young lady. And June can be excitable and can be difficult to handle if you are not trained. So she was not doing what she was asked to do. And then with the snow on the ground, she was outside the routine. She took a different path because the typical path we take June to walk, it was covered with snow and ice. And so I really just think it was like a series of just things that really are just out of the ordinary that set up the circumstances for a terrible accident to happen. And we're heartbroken that Miss Francis lost her companion. And we do have, I wanted to get her contact information from the website. We haven't gotten it yet, but we will, because we definitely want to send our condolences and want to, connect with her in that loss, because it truly was a terrible accident. And I wouldn't wish that on any dog owners, because I love my dogs as well. And I wouldn't want anything like that to happen. So, it was a terrible accident. And we've taken steps long before this point to, try to be responsible with June. But we were exposed to an act of disobedience from a child. It just reacted in this terrible accident. And as far as the signs, we did put the signs up as according to the order. But my children are here in the neighborhood, and they are feeling very conscious about what happened, self-conscious about what happened, and they feel bad, and they feel embarrassed in a way, and we have a large community that's very dog friendly. Most of the dogs here really are smaller dog pet owners, small dogs. And having walked this journey these last 2 years, having large dogs is a different kind of experience when you have a large dog versus the small toy dogs and the smaller ones. So I think, the community here, they interact, they build relationships. We all have with other owners, pet owners, and then having to put this sign out and I don't know. They don't see June as a dangerous dog. I don't see June certainly did a dangerous thing that resulted in the loss of life, which is, no one wants that. But, I really think for the sake of, just peace and not having to have to kind of wear this shame in the window, a reminder that you had this dangerous dog. And so that's my reasoning for not having there for the sake of, the children having to have to walk back and forth and interact with other people and have to explain every time, if someone sees a sign or what have you. And again, this incident didn't even occur on our personal property. It was out in the community while they were walking the dog, because we've done a lot of things to secure our pets here. So those are my thoughts. I don't know if I left anything out.
Thank you, ma'am, very much. How old is your daughter who is walking June?
She is 9.
Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
Autumn, did I see in the evidence file a report from another time?
Yeah, so after this incident occurred, it was reported to Animal Services about an incident that happened last year with another dog that they have named, let me look at it real quick. Claire, similar type of animal, got a hold of their dog and it broke the legs of the dog. I asked him why he didn't report it to us last year and that he was trying to keep the peace, just kind of deal with it as neighbors. But then after this incident, he wanted to come forward to file the affidavit and the picture of his dog's x-ray regarding that. So it was just uploaded as just evidence regarding the animals in the home.
Thank you. Ma'am, you said that you were having trouble installing the second barrier. Are you able to get that worked out, or what kind of barrier you're trying to put in and what trouble you're having installing it?
It was the one recommended by the officer Herbert. I bought it off Amazon and actually it's really nice. It's retractable and you can install it, but because of the way our entranceway is, it has to be installed either on the brick or the metal. And we thought we can install it on the metal railing. So I had to go out to Home Depot and get some drill bits to do the metal. But the way the barrier is we realized we couldn't adhere it to the railing. We have to adhere it to the brick front. And so that requires a different drill bit to anchor it. We could choose a less sturdy barrier, like a gate or dog gate or something that works on like pressure. But those aren't as sturdy. So that's just where we've been. We could choose a different one that's a little less complicated, but then it's not as sturdy. But the one that we went with the recommendation. And also as a side note, this gentleman that went forth to report about his dog's leg being broken, I'm sure he failed to mention that his daughter brought her dog to my house. We didn't know they came in after school. Again, this is the children bringing her dog over to our house after school while I was at work. No adults was home. They did not follow instructions because they're not supposed to allow anyone in the home. without my permission. And the teens involved thought they would try to get the dogs to work together. I don't even know what the objective was. But when the other young lady brought her dog over to my home, Claire snapped at the dog, and then the dog's foot ended up being broken. Now, this young lady went home and told her parents that Claire ran up to her while she was walking her dog out in the community and bit the dog, but that was not the truth. And we worked through that as neighbors because the teens were trying to cover up what they were doing, which was wrong. And so that's likely why he didn't report it when it happened over a year ago, because of the circumstances. Again, these children being disobedient and trying to do whatever they thought they could do. And that's what happened. So we talked about it as neighbors. We came up with a solution, and we handled that. So, you know, him bringing this up to me is just an opportunistic move. It is what it is. It did happen, but I do think there's quite a bit that's not in that story that makes it a little bit different.
Thank you. Do any of the commission members have any questions? Yes, Tom.
Yeah, Ms. Keku. First of all, how old is June?
She is 2. She's 2 years old.
2. Okay, in her second year. You mentioned that you believe she is aggressive towards smaller animals. When did you start seeing that aggressive-ness? Or if I'm mischaracterizing the word aggressive, you can put it how you like, but kind of small animal aggressive, I think is what you said.
I don't think we noticed until we got behavioral training, because we didn't see it as, we didn't know anything about a prey drive or all of it. So there's a lot that we had to learn about animal behavior and animal instincts. And so what we were told back then, even when we adopted Claire, not even June, when we adopted Claire, those at the shelter was giving us information about the characteristics of a high prey drive, what it looks like. If you're walking them on a leash and you notice they lunge at birds or squirrels or something like that, then they have a high prey drive. So that's where it came from that knowledge and learning that there.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Prey drive. That's the words I was looking for. I appreciate you.
Yeah. So do you still have Claire?
Yes.
Okay. And what kind of dog is Claire?
She is a pit bull terrier mix.
Thank you. Anybody else have questions?
Officer Herbert, could you go through the outstanding items on the DO?
Okay, so I have not been out to the house yet, but they do have insurance. I haven't seen the crate, but they say that's why I was going to do the inspection this afternoon, hopefully. The fence, I think the only thing they are struggling with is that secondary barrier, which is supposed to go, the type of barrier that they bought is to be bolted into the door frame, which maybe it is metal, but it's supposed to go on the inside. So that when you open the front door, because they don't have an outside door, when you open that front door going into the house, that's in place. So it would be on the inside of the door frame.
Be on the inside and not outside?
Yeah. Yes.
Because
your door opens into your home when you get in, correct? When you're going into your house.
Yes, it opens inwards.
Right. So you want the secondary barrier behind it so that she can't bolt out the door.
Oh.
I can explain it to you when I come out this afternoon. And I can shoot you a picture of a different type of secondary barrier as well.
Yes. Yeah, because the one that we got, we were going to install it outside the door to make it, retract, come in and out, before we go out, we can retract it. I mean, pull it out so it create a barrier. But I wasn't thinking it'd be inside. Okay.
Well, if it's outside, you can't get into your house. The door is going to be open.
It's retractable, so you can retract it, open it.
Right, and then you don't have a secondary barrier. See what I'm saying? If you retract the secondary barrier that's on the outside of your house, you have to open the door to get in, and it opens in.
Mm-hmm.
I'll explain it to you when I come out.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, so that we have everything else in place.
Great, thank you. It sounds like we can get that barrier satisfied there. Somebody else I thought had their hand up. Yes, Dr. Hemmer.
Just real quick, Ms. Keku, ages of your children, please.
16, 15, 13, and 9.
Thank you. Any other questions? Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, Stacy.
Hi. I was just wondering, so, what measures are going to be in place as far as to try to eliminate the kids trying to take the dogs out more? I mean, obviously, I'm sure a painful lesson was learned with what happened, but do you feel like they're fairly understanding at this point that maybe they can't walk the dogs on their own, things like that?
I think the youngest one definitely knows through the hard way. And she was not given permission to walk them alone anyway to begin with. The older children, I feel more confident with because we all went through this training together. We worked with Cerberus protection dogs. They came out, we did sessions. I'm in training, and actually my middle daughter is actually taking a liking to dog training, and that's where she wants to do for her profession. And so she has taken liberty to do a lot of research, and I've actually learned a lot from her. And so, we've invested time and money and training to the oldest so that they can feel comfortable, and I feel comfortable them walking the dog. And it really helps because if I'm at work, they're able to take the dog for a walk, after school. And they do know how to use the muzzle. Because we used the muzzle actually on Claire. The one we got for June, she hated it, and we were trying to get her to keep it on her face, and we weren't having success. But we, thought we would be in a good place, using the training that we had. But we really hadn't had June have any incidents. We haven't until this unfortunate incident occurred. It was just a terrible, terrible accident.
Thank you. Just as a reminder, and reading from the dangerous order, your dog has to be under the control of a responsible person 18 years of age or older in order to be taken out of the home, fenced area, or kennel.
Yes, and I've read that, and that piece, and I'm glad you brought that up, because if that's a point to appeal, I would want to appeal that one, because I do think the children, even though they're children and teens, not the 9-year-old, clearly, but those, my 13-year-old and up, they have done the same training that I have done. They've worked with the dog trainer, and they're actually really, really good at handling the dogs. And for our lifestyle, it makes more sense to be able to have more than just my husband and I, the only ones that can walk the dogs. Like, it really isn't practical for us. We wouldn't be able to adhere to that just because of the work schedule and the things. It helps that the children come home in the afternoon and they're able to walk them. We can, of course, do evening walks or early morning walks, but that afternoon really helps to have the children. And really, that's the main time they take them out, is in the afternoon and in the morning, sometimes before school.
Thank you. So just for clarity, you are appealing, first of all, the overall dangerous order.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And if not, then to put less signage up.
Yes, so we can put, we actually have beware of dog signs that we can,
Okay.
we already have it in our possession, but
Okay, so I
um,
just want to run through your
mhm.
points to make sure that I'm accurate about this.
Yes.
It sounds like we're gonna get that second barrier corrected for you. And then now you would want your children to be able to walk your dog.
Yes, at least 13 and up. At least 13 and up, because I'm in agreement. You know, it shouldn't be all children. But I think, 13 and up seems to be a reasonable cutoff for me, for to be able to handle a dog. I mean, because I handled a dog when I was a teen as well, and we took the dog out for a walk. Like, that was a part of the childhood experience. But of course, we've had this incident now, and now we're trying to respond, and trying to figure out the best way moving forward to minimize risks of further, we don't want anybody to get hurt. I don't want my family, I don't want my dogs to be hurt, and I don't want anybody else to be hurt as well. And so, we're trying to do everything that we can, but that would really help us, 13 and up.
Okay, thank you very much. Are there any further questions for? Yes, Dr. Hammer.
Yeah, Miss Kiku, who are you using? Are you using Cerberus Dog Training Services or Cerberus Canine Academy? Which Cerberus are you using? Your dog trainer?
Cerberus protection dog, canine protection dogs.
Cerberus Canine Protection. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. If there are no other questions, then we will go ahead and move on to deliberations. Thank you very much for being here this morning. Appreciate it.
No problem. You're welcome.
Okay. Bye. So anybody have a thought about that last question and answer about the training services? I'm not familiar with them, but it seems like protective canine is not the training avenue to go.
I would agree that it doesn't sound that way. I don't know. I'm not familiar either with any of them. I do commend her for trying training of any sorts. It sounds like the dog is well, in need of that. So I do commend her for that.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm in agreement. You don't want canine protection services training this dog. It's a different kind of use for the animal. And I can't seem to find Cerberus canine protection dogs online, but I'm not technically savvy either.
Right.
Get that caveat out.
I'm not finding them either. They have no web page at all.
Just the concept of protection is this dog needs the family and the dog need basic training and behavior modification to me, not protection.
Unlike the other case, this is a case where this dog actually needs, in my opinion, aggressive dog training. That's what this dog needs. If you're turning this dog into a protection dog, we're all well aware that's a literally a different animal altogether.
Yes.
And that, in my opinion, quite frankly, is the inappropriate service to put this dog through to try and ameliorate the behavioral issues we're dealing with at this juncture.
Yeah.
And especially if you're letting people into the home, especially young kids, like if it, anything, I have no expertise, but just the word protection dog, like that really scares me to think of a dog that's trained to, protect the home essentially, but kids are being allowed in and out.
And not adults there to reinforce the training. Nicole, I'm sorry, I think I may have cut you off.
In the evidence file, it talks about Cerberus canine specializing in obedience, house training, military and protection dogs, should train and certify service dogs, qualified canine behavioralist. They also do
Okay.
board and train. And it's also important to note that her receipts for these dog training were from April and May of 2025.
Thank you very much for bringing that up for us. Appreciate it greatly. See, it takes us all to go through the evidence and make sure that we catch it all. Any other comments?
I have
Tom?
I have a 14-year-old and an 11-year-old, and I know that I can't say two things and get them to listen to it. So to her request of 13 and up. I mean, I'm telling you, I'm at my son's baseball practice yesterday, and you tell the kids to do something, and half of them listen, half don't. It really concerns me. I do agree that, especially after this incident, and hopefully they would see the severity of what this dogs can do, and it would be great to allow them to work with these dogs, but I just can't see allowing that without an adult present. And to her comment of that it really doesn't work for them, I just don't know how we would be able to amend that in any sort of way. Again,
Yeah.
in my personal experience and just in the experience of this commission, I mean, kids a lot of times, I mean, they don't think ahead, they don't think critically, and in some cases just not physically able to handle, a strong dog, 75-pound dog that wants to get after something small. They're not, even the 16-year-old is going to struggle. I would struggle. I'm 6'4", 260 pounds, and it sometimes to handle a German short hair pointer, it wants to go after a squirrel. He wants to go. It's hard to stop him. So,
Thank you, Dr. Hemmer.
Yeah, I'm wholeheartedly in agreement with Tom and Ms. Kiku. Both cases today, both these owners are coming across, to me anyways, being very, very responsive, taking the allegations seriously and doing what's in their realm to try and make their pet safe, their family safe, and the community safe. So I'm really happy to see that. And I think I am going to pay close attention to the children issue, because I don't believe this is a Miss Kiku problem. I think this is her children's problem. They've precipitated this. And if you read the report about the dog that got bit and it actually just broke one leg, broke both bones, the radius and ulna in the leg, but only broke one leg. And in that report, that affidavit, whoever filled that out did say that the daughter, young kid, brought the dog to Miss Kiku's home. So it's, once again, we're stuck with trying to address this when the adults in the room are all on the same page. It's the children that are just running ramshot through this whole thing. So,
Yeah.
we need to be mindful of that. And this pit bull is going to be more than a handful to handle. I mean, I would even probably have a tough time dealing with that, particularly with such a strong prey drive that this beast seems to
Yes.
have. I'm just concerned.
Yeah, I think prey drive is a good terminology there, that can explain the aggressive nature. I'm concerned that this is the second incident of possible prey drive. So we're faced with, number one, her first request was to reduce the DO to a PD. She didn't say, but reduce it, and so it'd be to reduce it to a PDO, I guess. The other is if we uphold the DO, and actually with either one, she wants the lesser signage and she wants her children to be able to walk the dogs. Yes, sir.
My thoughts, because of the sincerity in trying to rectify this Miss Kiku impressed upon me, I was willing to consider dropping this to a PDO. But now, after getting evidence of that second bite that occurred before this one, I don't think that there's any way we could I don't think that there's any way that we can reconsider dropping this to a PDO at this point. You know, I mean, that leg wasn't broken. That leg was snapped.
That
This
was the
dog is
different
a handful.
dog.
But are we allowed
Different.
to consider two separate
Yeah,
animals?
yeah.
in
Was
one-
it wasn't this June
No.
that did that one as
No.
well?
No.
Yeah,
My
It's-
misunderstanding.
the appeal is on a dangerous order on June.
June, but Claire broke the other dog's
Yeah.
leg.
Claire is
Okay.
part of the evidence file.
Got it.
But am I mistaken that
I
since
take
there
all
was-
that back. Thank you.
Am I mistaken with loss of life in this dog? Is the vicious order no longer in play? Did I miss something with that? Because I mean, again, with loss of life, I thought that would be in play. Not that I think it should be in play in this case. I'm just saying that.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, I think it was the option of the owner who chose the euthanasia rather than more extensive treatment. Dr. Hammer, am I correct on that?
okay.
Okay.
All right. I must have. All right.
Yeah. But it looked like the injuries were pretty extensive and severe. I would like to recommend to them that they consider a different breed, but we're not in that position. So, let's first have a motion regarding dropping if we want to make that motion, dropping the dangerous order to a potentially dangerous order. Is that on our table at all?
I think it's on our table to make a motion because she asked for it, so we can at least in the record show that we addressed her concern. And I would make a motion that we do not drop the order from a dangerous order to a PDO.
I'll second that.
Thank you. So the motion is that we not drop the dangerous order to a potentially dangerous order. Am I correct? All right, so those in favor of not dropping. Okay, so that's unanimous then. Thank you. So then the next item would be she would like to post different signage than what is required by the dangerous order. Dr. Hammer?
Thank you for pointing out that Claire was the second dog involved here, Nicole. I missed that in my review. I'm appreciative of that. But that further reinforces to me that we should make absolutely no changes to the DO as it stands. These owners have not one, but two dogs that have a strong prey drive. And I'm concerned that if we don't impose the appropriate security measures to control those dogs, including the 18-year-olds and older walking the dogs, we're potentially putting the public at risk for another incident like this, and potentially even involving a human victim.
I fully agree with that. Any other comments on that?
I
No,
agree, and I would suggest that we uphold the DO as written.
Okay, so can I have a motion, please? Is that your motion, Nicole?
I mean, we already voted on essentially upholding the DO. My motion would be make no modifications to the DO.
Okay, second.
I'll second that. We're good.
Okay, all those in favor of no modifications? All right, thank you. That was unanimous as well.
hey, I'd also like to point out, and I'm sure it's in the order, it's because it involves the children, and it should be that the animal should be in a keyed and locked room when no one over the age of 18 is or family members are present. So it sounds like with the kids, they have friends in and out and things like that. That's something that Ms. Keiko needs to be, fully aware, because those, it happened with the other dog, a year ago or whenever it happened. Even if friends are just coming over, those dogs should be kind of put away.
Yeah.
That's based on the order.
Yeah,
If
I
those dogs were
agree.
put away, we wouldn't have had Claire bite that other dog.
Yeah. So Autumn, when it sounds like Officer Herbert is planning to go out to the home later today, can you ask her to review each item of this order to be sure that she truly understands it and what it means, not just out in public, but there in the house with the children, with visitors to the house?
So that's a part of her, when she does her inspections, she goes line by line. But we can definitely emphasize, the items that we discussed about, the dog being locked away in a crate when with kids in and out, and then that her children cannot walk the dogs without the adult.
Yeah. Thank you very much. So we have some, before we move on to our minutes, or do you want to do minutes
I have a
first?
question.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, that's why I asked her the question about like what with the kids, things like that. I was worried about that. What does this mean as far with kids? Would the kids be allowed to let the dogs use the bathroom in the backyard if it's a securely fenced backyard? Because I'm just wondering, like, if her husband and she are home, so aren't home until later, things like that. How do things like that work versus like having to have an adult dog walker come in the home or something like that, which might be dangerous with protection dogs?
It's my understanding that as long as the yard is fenced in appropriately with what animal control prescribes, the dog can be let out in that secure area to do whatever it needs to do. Okay, that's my understanding. That could be wrong.
Yeah.
That's my understanding. And the whole point of the 18-year-old is so that we have somebody legally responsible walking that dog in public where
Exactly.
there's definite
Yeah.
risk of public exposure.
Yeah.
That's my understanding of the law. If I'm wrong, please correct me.
As I'm reading it, that I agree with you, Dr. Hemmer, which means then that the kids can spend time with their dog. They can practice their training. They can do all the things that she was talking about. The kids can do.
Well, the only caveat to that would be if they opted to go with a kennel instead of having the fenced in backyard, in which case I don't think the kids could then walk the dog from the house to the kennel legally.
Right.
So that would be the only caveat to that.
My understanding from from Officer Herbert was that they were pretty much in compliance, so they must have the fenced yard.
Gotcha. Well, again, in lieu of the fenced yard, they can use a kennel, but again, like moving the dog from the house to the kennel, unless there was a secure way to do that, without, I guess without having some sort of physical barrier, would technically be legal, which can exacerbate this issue even further. But again, I think the public safety aspect definitely has to outweigh the kind of immediate, things they have to deal with within the family to figure this out. So
Absolutely. So, Autumn was advised, and she advised me as well, that unfortunately, this is Dr. Hemmer's last session with us because his
News to Dr.
session-
Hemmer too.
Pardon?
News to Dr. Hemmer too.
I'm sorry.
I'm losing you twice, Doc.
Yeah, because your second service is up at the end of this month, and we absolutely hate to lose you.
Been my pleasure.
I think Autumn tried to see can we get you extended and all. But anyway, so Autumn has something to share with us.
You want to mute yourself? There you go. So this was actually something that we did. It was kind of like Jackie and I talked about it, and then just kind of got it in motion with Claudia. But Dr. Hemmer, we put together a certificate of appreciation, and just wanted to read to you what the certificate says. because I think it words it the best. The certificate is awarded in recognition of your dedicated service on the Animal Matters Commission from March 30th, 2022 to March 30th, 2026. Your commitment to ensuring that animal-related cases are heard with fairness, integrity, and impartiality reflects the highest standards of public service. Your leadership, time, and thoughtful judgment are sincerely appreciated and leave a lasting impact. Signed by our director, Ms. Claudia Roll. Obviously, I'm not going to email this to you. I have the hard copy in my office with a nice little folder, so I can connect with you outside of this to figure out if you want to come get it or if you want me to mail it, whatever works best. But we truly do appreciate your time here and all that you've done all these months in the craziness of all the cases.
Yeah, thanks, Doc. I appreciate it. I got the opportunity to work with Dr. Hemmer when I first started in this position, working as the health department liaison here in like 2015. And I really learned a lot about how this process all works through him. So really, congratulations. Thank you.
You're very welcome. It's been my pleasure to work with everybody on the commission, and I'm going to miss it going forward, but I'm sure whoever replaces me, you'll be in good hands. Thank you very much.
We are going to miss you desperately. Your professional insight has just guided us all the way through. It's been absolutely awesome. Dr. Hemmer, do you have any recommendations for somebody to come on, because we can't really replace you?
Fair enough. I've done this a couple of times when Robin was around, now with Claudia, and everybody that I can think of when I reach out to them initially, so when you call, you'll get a positive. Everybody has just said thanks, but no thanks. So I've tried to reach out for my replacement, but I'm just not getting any traction with anybody that has any interest. I'm terribly sorry, but I've tried.
Thank you for your efforts. Appreciate it very much. So I guess we need to move on to our minutes from the last one. Everybody had a chance to read through them before. And can I have a motion to accept them?
I move to uphold the minutes from February.
I'll second.
Thank you. All those in favor of our minutes from February? Thank you. Does anybody have any other business, anything to share? I don't want to close this meeting because that means Dr. Hemmer won't be with us anymore.
It's been a pleasure. And if our paths never cross again, everybody have a great life.
Although, Dr. Hemmer, you still will have to read through the minutes.
Yeah, I'll finish everything up and I'll read through, make sure they're okay. But thank you, everybody. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you all very much. Can I have a motion to close the hearing or the session?
Explain that to Dr. Hemmer one last time.
I make a motion, we close this hearing and adjourn for the day.
I'll second.
All those in favor? If we didn't approve this, could we just keep him on? Thank you, Dr. Hemmer.
Thank
you, everybody.
Thank
you,
welcome.
everybody.
Be well. Everybody take care. Thank you.
Enjoy spring coming. Bye, y'all.